Hello,
Hello.
welcome to For Fat's Sake.
What's up?
I'm Brandy Wiltermuth,
I'm Alexis Morales.
and we are going to bring you some exciting information about weight loss, low carb, and keto today,
Yeah, that's all we talk about is low carb and keto stuff
and horror movies.
and horror movies. And you will notice today that we have vastly improved everything about our last podcast. Sorry.
Audio, visual, all kinds of good things.
Yep. And hopefully we'll get a new camera, donate to our Patreon, and we'll get it faster. But we're here today to talk about some inspirational / really good stories that have come out of COVID. Last time we were really talking about a lot of the patients that have really struggled, and we want to highlight some of the patients that are actually doing really well because there are a few of them, right, Brandy?
There are a few.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, we have a lot of people who are doing really well. And we talk about the people that are struggling and the issues that they struggle with because we want other people to know that they're not alone, right? There are lots of people struggling with all kinds of different things in terms of managing their weight and their health during this time. But there are also some people who are just outright crushing it.
Yeah.
And we need to acknowledge those people as well because they're the ones that keep us going, you know? They're the ones that make us feel like it's worth it and we're getting somewhere with people. So I do want to talk about a strategy that I think that would help people that are really struggling right now, because we do see that a fair amount. And a lot of it is people who've done well, have lost weight, and in the last 15 months have, maintained, which is not a small feat, right? I mean, we've all kind of had our ups and downs, but maintaining weight loss during this crazy time, I keep telling people I don't really know I don't have a playbook for weight loss during pandemic, lockdown, changes in how you're working from home or whatever. I've never been through this before, so I can't be like, oh, I remember last time this happened, this is what we did. Or
Yeah.
this is what people did and it worked really well. And I also don't have a playbook for those people who have been isolated the whole time, have lost weight and are, like I said, crushing it, but are now going to be going back into society, right? They're going to be rejoining their friends for drinks and dinners and parties and things like that because more vaccinations, people feel more relaxed. And I don't have a playbook for that one either. But for example, we have a patient who has lost 90 pounds in about a year. And so started during the pandemic, has done really, really well, worked from home the entire time, so hasn't seen anybody, coworkers or friends or anyone in that amount of time. And he's going to go back into those social circles, and it's going to be really interesting to see, number one, how people react to him and his weight loss.
I'm excited.
It's profound weight loss at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's not like he's just lost 20 or 30 pounds and nobody's going to know. Everyone's going to know. And he's had to like get a whole new wardrobe and everything. And so we don't know how that's going to go, but he's got really good skills. It's just we haven't had to approach these types of issues yet. So we'll see what happens with that.
And then we have another patient who has lost over 100 pounds. You told me earlier the exact amount, but I know it's over 100.
Yeah, I think it's 113.
Oh my gosh. Okay. 113 pounds. And he's lost a job and got a better job. So he went through a kind of a bad time, but then a great time, and has basically maintained this loss throughout the pandemic. And we are super proud of him. He is sort of a rock star and has done really well consistently through the entire program. I want to say that he's been with us now for about a year, maybe a little over a year, almost a year and a half, I would say.
I think you're right. And not only that, but he's gone through health crises with himself and his family, stuff totally unrelated to metabolic health or weight loss. Just a total like upheaval of life over and over. And he's been able to continue to manage his weight. And it's pretty amazing. Actually, always have to remind people to give themselves credit when it's due. And, you know, and then he's continuing to work with us. And so we have, because he wants to keep going, and he has made vast improvements in his metabolic health and his labs and everything. And so we're on a really good track. And I just want to share those kinds of things with people, because if they feel like they're stuck or they're feeling a little hopeless, I told someone the other day, the only way you can ever fail at this is if you quit. And that's true. Because even if you're stalled out or not seeing a lot of progress on the scale, all the skills and behavioral modifications that you're making are going to stick with you and be hardwired instead of just something that you're adopting to do for a little while so you can lose weight. Those things tend to not stick.
Well, on the topic of metabolic health, there's, other than weight loss, a big part of what we focus on here at 3 Health is improving metabolic markers, things like people's A1C, their lipids. We also focus on their cardiovascular risk very heavily. And then the other things that are not necessarily metabolically related, but things like joint pain or arthritic pain. Oh, and I almost forgot. So, fatty liver disease is another thing that we address in mass amounts. It is the opposite. No, I don't want to say opposite. Opposite is a bad explanation of alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Right.
So,
It's the same, but a different cause.
yeah. And that is something that we see really big improvements on when people come here, they switch their lifestyle, change their diet, and they're actually put in front of the data. A lot of times the tests that we do are not done at their normal doctor's office, and so we kind of find these problems, and our specialty is fixing those problems. So I want to talk about some patients that have actually gotten really healthy recently. And so, one, and I hope you know who I'm talking about, is he finally started losing weight. He wasn't losing weight right away, but he started losing weight. And he started to notice his blood glucose going down. He's reduced his insulin usage recently, and he's doing really well. There was one other medication he's about to decrease, wasn't it? Maybe his blood
I think
pressure.
he's reduced a bunch of medications,
Okay,
but the big one is the insulin.
right.
And it's one of those kinds of chicken and the egg situations where if he didn't reduce his insulin, he wasn't going to lose the weight, and he wasn't going to be able to keep lowering his insulin use. So it was like we had to just cut the insulin so that his body could start tapping into fat stores, and then manage the blood sugar with the diet instead of covering with insulin. And he's, again, like crushing it. He's a rock star when it comes to that. And
So I'm curious, when he cut the insulin, is that when he really started to accelerate his weight loss?
yes, yes,
Okay,
because
so
he
that's
was,
really
and
fascinating.
he's cut it by probably at least 75% of what he was on when he first started.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that's,
I didn't know it was that much.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he was on pretty mega doses of a really high concentration insulin. So we've just been reducing it. And then he's also been really, really good at using his CGM and the biosense to know where he's at and how he's responding to the dietary changes and the changes in his insulin. So he's pretty sophisticated when it comes to using those tools. And we're really proud of him. And it's fun to work with him. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just,
He's all about the tools. He's all about his CGM and the biosense. He really loves it.
yeah.
And that's when we get excited because people can really utilize the tools and the data that comes from those tools to make vast improvements in their health. And we've said it many times before, and maybe we don't say it enough. Like, what we do here is we help people reverse their type 2 diabetes. We get them off medications. We're not in the business of putting people on more medications. We're definitely in the business of taking them off so that they can live a healthier lifestyle through food alone, right?
Right.
Food is medicine.
Right. Well, and activity,
And
right?
activity, of course. Of course. Exercise. Yes.
So,
I act like
speaking
I
of
don't like it, but I love
exercise,
it.
how are you doing on your exercise?
Okay, I don't I'm embarrassed to say what I'm doing right now because it came from a really funny YouTube video. But I am doing like arm exercises that make me look like a chicken, but they work.
Oh yeah, like the windmill things.
Yeah, I mean like literally flapping your arms, like not just circles, but yes.
Okay, well,
And
that's
it's silly and it's fun, and I do it for a few minutes every single day, and it's actually made quite a bit of a difference, honestly. I was
awesome.
surprised by that. And then we're supposed to be going to the gym.
We are going
Haven't
to
made
the
it there
gym.
yet.
Well, maybe one of these days. Like today? No, not today. It's not going to work. But we will. We still have to evaluate where the one right over there is going to be the right one for us.
Right. And so we talked about this last time. We were struggling with like addressing our lists. And one of the things that I actually recently discussed with my group is urgency versus importance. And it really hit a nerve with me when I discussed it with Brad. And he had explained to me the difference between something that was urgent and something that was important. And that has really helped kind of mitigate some of the tasks that have come about, especially with our new move, especially with setting all this up and trying to just get through actual daily activities and making sure I'm, interacting with certain people, doing what I'm supposed to do. So I really enjoyed that conversation, and maybe I should share it. Okay, so what's important and what's urgent? So my example really is just, are you putting out fires all day, or are you actually,
Making progress.
making progress? Yeah. So if you're putting out fires all day, then you're addressing the things that are urgent, but you've now put everything that was actually important by the wayside. And then you feel like you don't get anything done. And that's exactly what we talked about last time. Is like, I feel like I'm doing all these things, but I'm not getting anything done. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that probably feel like that because we've been in a pandemic for a year. So that's something that I really talk to my patients about, and encourage them to look at their life and address the things that were important to them, not just the fires that were around them. I always think of that little meme of that guy who's like surrounded by fire and he's like, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of how I feel. So we will get the gym thing straightened out. That's definitely an important thing. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that a theme that I've noticed in the last couple of weeks with a lot of people that I've been talking with, and Brad can corroborate this, is that people are longing for those connections. We had a couple people say, I really didn't realize how socially isolated I was, and or they're using like alcohol to socialize more because that's easy and common ground and whatever. So people are longing for more connections, more social connections that are meaningful. And because of that, I think that, let me scratch that. I know that many of our patients would benefit from your group.
If you want to join my group, let me know because it's really fun, actually. We share tons of recipes, ideas, we share our struggles and talk about our successes, and it's only growing. And it's really fun. I want to say that it is really fun. It's fun to interact with these women so far, maybe some men here soon, and talk about some of the things that, each day to day. If we talk about one little thing, it's almost like this really nice reminder of what we're working on. We're working on ourselves. And I think if we don't have that tiny connection, we sometimes forget about it. I know
Well,
I do.
and to feel like you're not alone, you're not the only one. I always say that I get to be like a receptacle of all this information coming from all these different people who are working toward a common goal, which is not everybody's working towards everybody else's weight loss, but I mean, everyone's trying to lose weight and be healthier. And so I learn a ton from everybody, and I kind of get to then, you know, give that information back to somebody who's needing it at the time. So I get to be kind of like this, like I think like a receptacle of all this experience and information that people gain while they're going through it. It's just disseminating that information one-on-one isn't very easy. So in a group setting, you get to experience what other people have learned and or are struggling with. And if you've kind of mastered that, you can be like, hey, this is what I did in that situation and it really, really helped me. And then you help someone else. And it really builds your confidence, and it creates those relationships and that community that I think we're all really in need of and longing for. And what could be better than having 6 to 10 other people that you don't really know that you can share these things with, and they can support you along the way and give you recommendations and, give their 2 cents about what they did, or you give them the information that they need to help them with something. I think it's what's missing in a lot of people's lives right now.
Yeah.
And so when is the next group going to start?
Next group is going to start on June 8th.
June 8th, and that's a
Tuesday.
Okay, sticking with the Tuesday.
Yep.
At
Tuesdays, 6 p.m.
Pacific.
Oh, yeah. Pacific time. That's very important. I have a couple people that are Midwest and still, I guess, like in the middle of the United States.
We need someone from the East Coast.
That'd be sweet.
So you don't have to be a patient of ours, obviously, to join this, because it's 100% virtual. And if you listen to us, maybe you're on the East Coast and you think, hey, this is something I need. I need the support and figure out what these ladies are doing. Join us. It's really easy and fun. And I'm not there most of the time, so
It's just me.
It makes it even better for people.
But, Brandy had mentioned it, I think, a long time ago, probably in the very beginning of our episodes, was that she learns a lot from her patients. And we are fortunate to be able to share the information that our patients give us with other people.
Right.
And that is probably, I think, besides our schooling, is a major resource for us, is our patients. And just in my past group, I learned so much from several of them, and they were able to influence the whole group with what they've learned and make a really positive impact on all of our successes. I mean, there's several people in the group that have continued to lose weight. They've utilized their tools more. They've been more engaged than they've ever been. And I really appreciate you guys. So I want you guys to know that I hear you, and I write everything down, and I copy you. And plagiarism is the best form of flattery.
Plagiarism, yeah. So, if you're feeling like you're out there and you're just, on a little lifeboat by yourself and you don't know what's going on, or you really need that support, I really strongly encourage you to take a whirl at this group and see how it goes. I think it's not just what's missing in terms of socially because of the pandemic, but what's been missing from what we've been able to provide because of the pandemic. And it's really hard to get that information out on a one-on-one basis. Like, I can't tell you, oh, well, the experience of the group was this. You need to kind of be in it and live it. And it's a little bit different focus than what I focus on, right? I'm looking at the medical issues and looking at it from a little bit different side of it, and Alexis is taking that information and the social behavioral connections that people have and making it work for everybody. So
I also get a lot more time with you guys than Brandy does.
Yeah.
So it gives us more of an opportunity to build a relationship and then be able to build off that relationship. So that's why I think it's really important, because, medical visits are great and all, but it's really the community and the support that you get from others that is going to help you be successful.
And we know that. So we're planning on utilizing our space to create some really cool, fun activities that will get people engaged and bring people together. Even if you are on the East Coast, you will be able to join us virtually and take part in some of the festivities that we have planned coming up. So keep an eye open for that.
Yes. And we appreciate you all. Thank you for listening to us. Sorry about our last episode.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. We got our act together, promise. And it's only going to get better from here. We've actually both wore white today. See
how angelic we are?
And we are really looking forward to giving you more content. Our goal was to really be able to do that, and this space, like being able to provide more opportunities for patients, is also going to give us more opportunities to provide content to you guys with better equipment and a better setup, more space, we'll be able to do that. So we're really excited to do that for you guys.
Yeah, we're going to do some keto dinners, events like that. And then the other thing that I think we should do soon is some product review.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because we get questions all the time. Is this good? Is this okay on keto? And a lot of times you can look at the package and be like, yeah, it's okay. But then you don't really know how it tastes. So I want to try everything and then tell you guys our honest review of what we've tried.
Should we try it on camera?
I don't know if we need to do that, but we could. Some things like bars and stuff like that, I guess we could.
Okay. And then maybe show some of the foods that we have actually stocked in our fridge.
Yeah, we
went here at work.
We went and got everything that we need to keep our fat fuel going and keep the carbs down and continue to be able to work.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that kind of concludes our episode today. Is there anything else you want to add?
Just that fat doesn't make you fat.
Sugar makes you fat. And then stay tuned after the show for our movie review. And if you like horror films, we
this time it's a horror film.
It is a horror film. It's the best one of 2020, or so they say.
Top of the list, anyway.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. So welcome to Killers, Cannibals, and Psychos. Yeah. This movie, I think, has to go under the Psychos category. And Killers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Everybody died.
So I had nightmares. Well, not nightmares. I had a dream about this movie. Like I was in the movie and
what?
My sibling, because it's the sibling, right? It's the sister and brother. I was like unable to call out to her and I was trying to scream and she couldn't hear me.
That sounds like sleep paralysis, to be honest.
It does. But I wasn't that scared because I knew it was just based on the movie that I just watched.
Oh my gosh.
But that means it's a good movie in my mind because I had a dream about it.
What's the movie, Brandy?
It's called The Dark and the Wicked.
Yes.
And so it's a possession, I think. Demonic possession, haunting-ish. Yeah.
It's a couple different combinations. Haunting of a demonic possession. Was that a thing? It's a horror thriller.
So, yeah. And it was set on a farm in the middle of Texas, which is scary if you ask me. The setting was scary just at the get-go. It was a goat farm. And goats are freaking scary.
No, they're not. They're super cute when they're babies.
But then they grow up to be the devil.
I guess.
Remember that other movie where Black Phillip was the devil?
Oh, yeah.
I kept thinking about that the whole time. Anyway.
Black Phillip.
But so what happens is it starts off with the mother of the two kids is taking care of the dad who is dying. He's
tragic.
We don't really know what he's dying from, old age or whatever, but he's at home and there's a hospice nurse that is coming and she is there, fairly frequently. But the mother tells the kids not to come. And they come anyway because they feel guilty and they, say they should have helped. And there's also
I've never met like siblings that cared so much. If my mom was like, "Don't come," I'd be like, "Okay."
Well, I can relate because my mom would say stuff like that, but then you go there and she's so happy that you came. So, they don't want to bother you or whatever. So, and there's also a
try hard.
Whatchamacallit, a like farmhand person that's there. So there's like all these people around.
Yeah.
But immediately you get the sensation that things are just really not right. Like stuff is off.
That's why you don't go there.
and then crazy stuff starts happening right away. Like the mother hangs herself in the barn.
Oh, okay. Well, hold up. She chops off her fingers
Oh, yes,
first.
she did.
Okay.
She was chopping a carrot and then just started chopping her fingers
And
off.
if you recall, the description of this film described it as daydreaming nightmares. Or what is what it's not day it's daydreaming, right? Yeah. Like nightmares during the day. Anyways, delusions. That's what they are. And so she's dreaming slash
But she really did cut her fingers
possessed.
off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. They
So,
showed her on the autopsy table and she was missing her fingers.
oh yeah, yeah. And then she had, what did she have in her pocket? Little crosses.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Anyway, it was a good movie in the fact that like they had the priest come and the priest was
Yeah.
like, okay, she reached out to me because she was all alone and all this stuff. And then later they go to call the priest and he's like, I've never been to your farm. I don't know what you're talking about. And you have the same voice and name as my daughter that killed themselves like 20 years ago. And it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. Did you not catch that?
No, not the daughter part. I
Yeah.
caught the priest part, like, well, I've never been there. But Brandy was super hyped about the whole mother's death thing, okay? Because she was like, it was super realistic.
Well, I don't know that, but I would imagine that when you cut somebody down from a rafter, like this was not a small, frail old lady. She was, very healthy.
Yeah.
And just the way, so the reason why I liked it, not because I liked that, but I liked that they made it very realistic
Yeah.
in terms of like he really struggled to hold her
He
weight
dropped her.
and he had to like ease her to the ground and whatever.
Yeah, he dropped her.
And then there was another part where all the goats got slaughtered by something. We don't really know what, but they had this huge fire and they were burning all the goats, all the goat carcasses,
They were chucking the goats into this huge bonfire.
and it looked really real. Not that I've seen goats being chucked into a fire either, but just like, you know how when it's so fake, you're like, that's not a body because they're just like,
Oh, it's like a stuffed scarecrow type
right,
body or
right.
something. Okay.
And this, like, they had to heave it and it seemed very realistic anyway. So the details in the movie, I thought, were very well done, very well thought out, and it was, to me, it was scary.
So
Like,
it's funny that you mentioned that body thing to me, remember? Okay. And then you told me to watch this show called Mayor of Easttown. Really good show. And then she talked about her son. And she was like, I tried to catch him. I was
yes,
like, wow, what a coinkydink.
yeah, I imagine that that's really hard to do.
Yeah, she was like, he's really heavy. It was really heavy.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, yeah.
yeah.
It's called
So
Dead Man's Weight for like a reason.
yeah, or your dead weight.
God, we're horrible people.
Anyway, the overall conclusion was that I think the father was the devil.
Oh, well, no, he wasn't the devil. He was possessed. He was possessed.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, possessed by the demon.
Because the mother wrote in her diary and said that he wanted his soul.
So he was actually, I mean, the father was the one doing all this chaos.
Because he was possessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every time they showed him, he was just lying in bed dying.
Okay, well then when he died, how did the daughter and the brother die?
Well, the brother,
I guess he was still alive when the brother died. Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
But so that was the other kind of interesting twist. It wasn't just a straight possession, right? It was like, because the brother goes home. You guys aren't going to be able to follow this. You're just going to have to watch the movie. The brother leaves. He's like, I can't do this anymore, and I got to go home and take care of my family. He gets home to his precious family that he's been missing, and he sees them all dead. Like, it looks like the mother killed the kids and herself, and he's so distraught that he ends up killing himself.
It was awful. It was really awful. And first of all, this movie is chaotic to begin with because people are dropping like flies every 5 minutes. So
And
you're
there's
just like, what just happened?
There's weird characters. The demon makes people kill themselves. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. But anyway, scary. Yeah, I think that's the bottom line. I was not scared while I was watching it,
Okay.
but it kind of seeped in, planted seeds, and I was like, because it's also confusing enough to make you want to try to keep thinking about and figuring it out what was really happening.
Yeah, because I was like, Brandy recommended this, and I was like, that wasn't really scary. I mean, I guess the storyline is scary, but the movie itself is not scary.
But it was well done. They really paid attention to detail. I think the setting was great. I think the characters were really well done. I
Yeah.
had to put the subtitles on because I could not understand what they were mumbling about. Because they were talking like this. And they all had accents because they were supposed to be in Texas. But anyway, I would recommend it. I want to give it a 7 out of 10.
All right. I'll give it a 3.5.
What?
It was all right.
I think you should watch it again.
I need some more. I mean, okay. Let me rephrase that. The nurse at the very end who killed herself, A plus.
That was wicked. That was wicked.
Yeah. Okay. I'll move it up to like a 6.5.
Okay.
It was pretty cool.
Just because of that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, to each their own, like you said. But I would recommend it if you want a dynamic possession and a kind of a thriller that makes you want to watch the movie again and think about it. Because that's my style movie. Like if I have to watch it again to like put pieces together, then I think it's excellent.
Also, if you want nightmares like Brandy, you should watch this movie.
Yeah. It's all right. So what are we going to watch next? Any ideas?
Oh, yeah. I want to review Mare of
Easttown. Okay.
Yes. Oh
That's
my
not really a movie, but I've
a
watched
show.
all the episodes.
Yeah.
I have
Is
to
there
now
more?
wait.
Is there more coming
Oh,
out?
there's going to be more, but
Okay.
I've watched all of them that are available.
Okay, we're gonna review this show because it's crazy, and we'll probably summarize like all the episodes.
I love that it's fast moving.
Oh my gosh. And okay, I'm so sorry. I know her name. Kate Winslet. There we go. And she's wonderful. She's a great actor. And it was really cool to see her in this role because a lot of times she's really like done up and she's the pretty girl in the film. She was grimy and I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
all
good
all the
character.
characters. I feel like they just went to, the East Coast and were like, "Will you be in our movie?" They're not like, well, she's a professional actress, obviously,
Mhm.
but I mean, all of them. And I remember the one lady that plays Lori too.
Yeah.
Like she's been in a lot of things, but like
Yeah.
they don't do them up very much, and they look very kind of real and rough.
Yeah.
And I've never really been to the East Coast like that far. I've been in New York City, but I've never really spent any time in any of those like East Coast smaller towns and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like a real town. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up, but
It was good. I'd watch it again. I have actually watched a couple episodes over again.
Yeah,
Because
I do
missed a couple
too.
things.
Because Daniel falls asleep and then I have to watch them all twice.
How much time are you wasting over there?
Well, yesterday I was sick.
Yeah.
And
poor Brandy.
That wasn't fun. And he came home and I was watching Handmaid's Tale.
Oh,
he doesn't like it.
Came out.
Yeah, he doesn't like it, so I've been watching it. And he goes, "Oh, I wish I had the Hulu flu."
That's a good one.
And I was like, I just started watching it.
Wait, why doesn't he like it?
I don't know. He's just not intrigued by the social issues that are being presented, I guess.
Oh, like the real ones?
Like,
oh, okay.
Enslavement of women and stuff like that.
Because we haven't been enslaved
he's an
ever.
action guy. He's like
There's tons of action in that show.
But it's like
they literally beat men to death.
It's too like that's grotesque, but it's not like lasers coming out of eyeballs and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And special powers, and he likes the Avengers and stuff like that.
Would he be okay with like witchcraft? That's like special powers.
He doesn't really care about that. I don't know.
Next time, we're going to teach you some black magic.
Yeah, I wish. Curses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if you guys have a movie that you would like us to review, or if you watch any of the movies that we review and you totally disagree with what we had to say about it, like we really didn't tell you anything about this movie except that it was crazy.
And then everybody died.
And everybody dies. And it's the same guy that did The Strangers.
which is one of my favorite films.
So
is.
maybe that was kind of a letdown for you because you had high expectations because of that.
The Strangers was terrifying.
See, I didn't think it was. I was like, okay, these 3 masked strangers come into your house and torture you. Okay.
It's my biggest fear.
At least they were humans.
Yeah.
That's not, to
what's
me,
scary about it.
No, I mean, I can put that in real terms in my head. Not that I want it to happen, but, but demons, you have no control over that.
Well,
there's no way to defend yourself against that.
Jesus will save us.
Okay. Didn't work very well for the people in this film.
No.
Anyway, that's all I got.
That's it.
Peace out.
Why are you still here?
Bye.
Bye.